Now, you know, we mentioned this before. Bill just had a birthday this week, 3 days ago. 3 days ago, he had a birthday. 1 year older, but you're not over the hill, Bill. Not with that car that you drive. That'll never happen. And you know, he is 80 years old now, fit as a fiddle. Very much the same as he was when he was a younger man. I hear that when he was young, he was known for his virility and his strength and being such a burly young man. In fact, those that knew him say that he was as strong as an ox and almost as intelligent. All right, we'll move on to our final roaster here before we give the man of honor his chance at the microphone. James Orville Wetzel. I like this guy already. That's a really good middle name. In fact, that's the same middle name that I have. You know, and I read his resume. I got a very nice formal introduction for him. I mean, this man has done some really impressive stuff. Unfortunately, the senility has made him forget most of it. So please, with sympathy, Mr. Jim Wetzel.
I want you to know it's not seniority. It's a pleasure to be here. And Beavertown. To honor my old friend Mayor Bill Walker. Wagner. And you're probably a little surprised that I'm standing here in front of you. Huh? The last time Bill and I were side by side, somebody stepped on my tongue. But I know a lot of stuff about him too. Do you know that he's a great humanitarian? I had the pleasure and privilege to be at a lavish birthday party he threw for himself down at McDonald's the other night. There was a homeless guy came in there, and he told Bill he hadn't had a square meal in a month. And Bill said, well, I'd like to help you out, buddy, but they only serve hamburgers in here and they're wrapped. And then we all know about when that big fire was up in Beaver Springs. Remember when they had that big fire up there? He sent those people a truckload of marshmallows. And you also know that he's a great disseminator of information, mostly about himself. I'm not exactly sure whether any of it is true. I think a lot of it is artificial dissemination. And you know how he likes to impress you with his knowledge. But I know some things about that. I was with him one night when he told Billy Graham that he liked his crackers. And then another time down at an Italian restaurant down in Selinsgrove, he told those people that innuendo was an Italian word for preparation H. But honestly, Bill, we all know about that handicaps you overcame to become that beloved person you think you are. Well, you know, he was so lonely when he was a kid. His parents bought him one walkie-talkie. And you know, his family moved around a lot too, but he always found him. And then as he got a little bit older, He had all those jobs, but he lost his jobs. He was the manager of an ice plant, and he lost the formula. So he lost that job. And then he worked in a sporting goods store, and a lady came in and asked for a jogging bra. He said, "What size are your joggers?" And he lost that job too. And then remember when you were that human cannonball in the circus? He was a human, and then he went and told the owner that he was going to quit. The owner said, "Where are we ever going to get another man of your caliber?" Turns out the guy that got was hired and fired on the same day. And, you know, I think, can I borrow your hat? I think I know why I know all this stuff about Bill. I think he's actually my long-lost brother. Can you see the resemblance? and remember, Bill, when we were kids, you always wanted to be a great singer, and I wanted to be a great brain surgeon. Too bad you never got your wish. My final words. You probably want to know why all these people came from all those distances to say this stuff about you and take up their time. Well, it's a dirty job, but somebody has to do it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wesley. Thank you very much. This one was especially just for me. Russian submarine captain. I know, in all honesty though, we sit here and we poke fun at Bill, but he really has done a lot for this small community of ours. He has done a lot to fend off the incoming tide of violent crime and drugs and things like that to try and come into the area. He doesn't know the meaning of the word fear or intimidation, which isn't surprising because he doesn't know the meaning of most words with more than 3 letters. Now, in all fairness, we've had our chance. We've tried to humiliate this man and dismantle him piece by piece. But in the fairness of the roast, he is the man with the last word, and I present the floor to the man, the guest of honor, the mayor of Beavertown, the fellow with 27 hats in his closet, Cloyd William Wagner.
Thank you, Rodney. Thank you, folks. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, come on. Thank you. That's enough. Thank you. Oh, my. Please. We got it. Let's go. Thanks an awful lot. All right. Thank you. Well, gosh, all Friday. I'm just glad to be here. I sure like to say I'm glad to be here. I'd like to say that, but I sure I can't because of the poor performance that these birds put on. My goodness, all. First, we'll start with Bruce. Bruce, I'm going to tell some true things, and then I'm going to conclude with something that's even better. Bruce said we went out to Provo, Utah. Well, as it turns out, Bruce's cousin was wrestling for the championship of the United States National Collegiate Association Athletics. And we went out there, and we did go out to Low, about 40 miles or so less from the Nevada border. And the championship round was supposed to begin in an hour. And we were thinking to take a shortcut through the Rocky Mountains. And we got to the shortcut, and it was closed due to 4 feet of snow. So we had to go all the way back to Salt Lake City, and then swing down to Provo, and we were at least an hour and a half late. But when we got to the arena, there was a parking spot right in front of the door. So we pulled in there and rushed in the building, and they had not yet begun because there was a power outage. So that's true. We got the best seats in the house, the best parking in the house for being an hour and a half late. Yeah, no, it wasn't handicapped. We were, but it wasn't a punishment. In any event, you probably don't remember this gentleman. He was undefeated in his whole career. He was from Iowa. What was his name, Bruce? Dan Gable. Never defeated. He lost that day. Another great Iowa wrestler was next. And Bruce's cousin, Goebel Klein, beat him. And I remember the joy in it. We stood up and cheered and hollered because Goebel became an NCAA champion, also defeating an Iowa wrestler. And Iowa was like top dog at that time, and they're still very, very good. That's an all true story. And it's true. He was out in his pinball machine and he shot all the balls and won 5 more games. Shot them again, won 10. And it wasn't a pinball machine, it was a gambling machine. And they didn't pay off because I said, Bruce, we got to get back there. But that delay just actually turned out to be a good thing. Now, other things about Bruce. Bruce, unfortunately, got separated from his wife. So he got a girlfriend. And they went to a new party, sort of like in a hall. And all of the boys went to the one end, and all of the girls went to the other end. And then they played post office, and they met in the middle in a somewhat dimly lighted hall. And the agreement was that when the boys came up to the girls, if they didn't want to kiss the girl, they could give her a quarter instead. And so on the way home, Bruce said, what do you think of the party? She said, oh, I loved it. I made 97 bucks.